All right, let's go. Las Vegas Raiders at the New England Patriots. Sunday at 1. Patriots favored by 2.5 here. Mike Vrabel, his Patriots debut as head coach. Pete Carroll, his Raiders debut as head coach. This is a fun one for week 1.
Yeah. Disrespect to the Raiders. You know?
You think so?
Geno Smith, Pete Carroll.
It's home field advantage. I mean, it's a push. Neutral site push.
I think it is.
If they were playing in Brazil.
Disrespect.
If they were playing in Arrowhead. It'd be a push.
Yeah.
Just thinking of neutral site games. If they were playing in Mercedes-Benz or in the Super Bowl, it'd be neutral. Where are you going? Not even where you're going, but what are we looking for? There's a lot of fun storylines in this. It's going to sneaky one of the best games. This is going to be one of the best games this week.
One of the best games.
Raiders Patriots.
I mean, look, Drake May is obviously going to be a fascinating watch. I had I talked about this on the panel that I was doing in Circa Sports. Like, Drake May right now is a really fascinating case study for like how projections and data and all those kinds of things work in the NFL. Because last year, everything around him was bad. And it was so bad, in fact, that when he got the job, I was like, I think this is a mistake because it could be damaging to him. It was so bad that having him out there might be making him worse long term. It might be detrimental to his future. So we know that if you have a bad receiving core and a bad offensive line and bad coaching necessary or a bad scheme, all those things should you should project a little boost in the quarterback if you remove those as problems, right? So if we change the receiving core and suddenly it's average, and we change the offensive line, it's average. Each one, you're like boosting the projection a little bit, right? But what I think we don't have a good handle on is how much. So when we look back at last year, Drake May was surprisingly good given the circumstances. It was a bad situation, and yet he looked pretty good. And then every now and again, he would make a clanging decision, right? Like a boneheaded play, awful turnover, whatever. So we're projecting him to be way better this year because the receiving core looks better, the offensive line theoretically looks better, and we hope the scheme will be better. What we don't know is, does that take away the boneheaded play every game? Or is that just part of who Drake May is, and no projecting him better is going to remove that part from his game? That, I think, will be really interesting to watch. He should be better, but does he change that element of him?
I also think the key is going to be all the plays in between, right? Even if, much like we talked about with Cam Ward, even if there are some bad turnover-worthy type plays in there, or interceptable even, if you want to use that awful terminology. Everything else in between, having more open receivers to throw to, having more plays where the offensive line isn't collapsing. And I don't know that that's necessarily set in stone, right? The offensive line is one of the questions that we're keeping an eye on here. I'm looking at the Stephon Diggs matchup, though, against a questionable secondary for the Raiders. I think there's a lot to like about the Raiders. Might actually pick them in this game in a minute here. I think Geno Smith's going to make them extremely competitive. Mm-hmm. He's got a couple guys to throw to. We'll see how the rookies really impact things, Ashton Genty and Dante Thornton, right? The Raiders secondary gives me the concerns. I think John Spytek's going to do a pretty good job there as the general manager. And I think their draft has high-end potential. They're still in transition, right? So they got some really nice pieces to be competitive. I worry about the back seven and their ability to cover. I think Stephon Diggs has a chance to go off here. And I think May is going to rely on him heavily. I think we're seeing a 15-target game for Stephon Diggs in this one. Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action.
Yeah, it could be. I'm really excited to see Ashton Genty play football. I had a tweet that kind of went mini viral during the week where there was a clip of Trent Richardson that was just out there, and I was like, "There's a small part of me that still doesn't really understand why Trent Richardson sucked in the NFL." And a lot of people retweeted that. Multiple people have compared Trent Richardson to Ashton Genty, and I can kind of see it I get...
Because we're a few carries in.
There's a quick glance resemblance that I get, right? Like short, squat, very twitchy, jinky type of running back. Like you can, at a very quick glance, I understand why you would immediately compare the two guys, but I do think they're very different players. But because preseason was a little bit like, just a tiny bit of concern right now that Ashton Genty might not be the dominant force that we all thought he would be.
He trucked the dude, but he didn't really... What was Trent Richardson's issue? He would make somebody miss, but then kind of like being quick. So
he would make
his
people
missed
miss.
tackles force number was strong.
Trent Richardson,
but it went to nowhere. It
right.
was very Najee Harris-like.
Trent Richardson would make 4 people miss on his way to bouncing to the perimeter and gaining a yard and a half.
Yeah, that was
every play. He would also, I mean,
I don't think Genty's that.
No, and Trent Richardson, like, there's that classic, look, still images are often manipulated and don't actually reflect the reality of the play, right? But there is that damning image of, like, a Raiders offensive line with a massive bodies here and a small section of bodies here and a giant open space here, and Trent Richardson, like, not looking at the space, but instead running right up the gap of
do not
hell.
use that one screenshot that went viral a decade ago was power, where you do not cut back on power against the leverage of the defense. Don't give that guy any credibility.
But that specific frame did highlight a Trent Richardson problem, which is I don't think he had particularly good vision.
And just to be clear, you're highlighting that people out there are overrating a couple preseason carries.
Yeah,
saying this.
I'm just
You're
saying,
not saying it.
No. Between people comparing Ashton Genty and Trent Richardson, and then preseason giving you just enough to be like, before I was 100% bulletproof confident that that Ashton Genty will be a very good NFL player. Now, there's at least like a 2% in there from the preseason that's like, maybe actually he's not going to be that great. So what I'm saying is I would like this game to remove that 2% again and me go back to being 100% confident that Ashton Genty will be a star.
Other matchups to watch here. So the new Patriots offensive line that we mentioned, Morgan Moses coming in. He'll have to block Max Crosby the majority of the time.
Would you, as
yes,
as an a defensive mind?
Yes.
Would you go out there and say
Tyree Wilson?
This is Will Campbell's first at bat. Tyree Wilson. The only thing you're bringing to the table right now is length.
I was about to get
deploy your length.
I was about to get there.
Fully deploy your length, and every play just long arm Will Campbell and see if little T-Rex over there can deal with it.
And it's not the only thing that Campbell struggled with. I think he had a good preseason. I think I saw the PFF Twitter account putting out his pass blocking grade or whatever it was. But when you watch who Will Campbell faced in the preseason,
by the way,
the same week he was having some rough reps against Vikings starters in joint practices. He was going up against, I love Gabe Murphy, but that's like the type of rusher with short arms that Will Campbell should handle.
Max Crosby typically does not move around, but Max Crosby has a stupidly long wingspan as well. Max Crosby's wingspan, I think, is 7-8 inches longer than Will Campbell's.
If I was on defense, it's in my notes here. I said it probably in May. When the schedule came out, I was looking at who are the length players Will Campbell might have to face, because we sat here all draft season talking about this thing. So Tyree Wilson has done some damage, I think, rushing from the interior.
Yeah.
With Malcolm Kuntz rushing outside him. I would love to see what Tyree Wilson can do. I don't think he's a great player or a great pass rusher, but he might have the Campbell kryptonite. I want to see that. Greg Rousseau in week 5. I'm going to say it every week. Let's see.
Rousseau is like an obvious, that's just a natural matchup that's going to come down the pipe. This is one, though, where if you're a defensive coach, I might specifically engineer this matchup because it's an obvious mismatch. Google has helpfully summed this up for me. Max Crosby has an 81-inch wingspan. I think, wasn't Will Campbell 74 or something? 77? Okay, so it's a 4-inch advantage in Max Crosby's favor. Anyway, 81-inch wingspan, a measurement that earned him the nickname the Condor, which I've never heard before, but okay. Point is,
challenge it, man. Just
Condor versus T-Rex is a mismatch that I would try and take advantage of.
Yeah, so there's some fun matchups here. I want to see how New England's how their offensive line holds up. I think the Raiders could have some success rushing the passer. I think the Raiders are weak in the secondary, and they've got some questions at corner. And I could see Stephon Diggs in particular being a high-volume player this week. Also want to see Travion Henderson, had that great preseason. How did they deploy him? They put him third on the depth chart for whatever that's worth, I think, right? If any of that stuff matters. But I could see them going to him early and often, particularly in the pass game.
And Kyle Williams as well.
Yes.
So those two rookies that look to bring explosiveness and dynamism to the table to this offense, can they both be factors right away?
All right, let's make a pick. Patriots by 2.5 here.
I'm going with the Raiders.
I'm also taking the Raiders. Harry takes the Patriots, and I think he might be taking the Patriots in Survivor.
Oh.
He's that confident.
Wow.
In New England here for some reason. Harry's gone rogue here. compared to us a couple times.
How long did he last in the Survivor last year? I was only tracking his
I think we
picks,
all took the Bengals week 1.
No, I didn't. I was through to like week 12 or something, and then accidentally forgot to set a lineup. That's how I crapped out.
You did a good job. Harry and I both maybe lasted a week, so we'll see how this goes.
A lot of people. I mean, the Circa Survivor thing, like half the field went out in the week 1 Bengals game.
Week 1 is you never know. You just never know.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
And the all-knowing algorithm is convinced you'll also like these videos, and who are we to argue?